Okay.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Business Basics. My name is Lee Iben. I'm the head coach at Action Coach Campus. We work with business owners every day, and one of the most exciting things about my job is I get to speak with business owners in Eastern Iowa, and today's guest is Julie Potler. Julie owns Julie's Fountain of Flowers in Lone Tree. Julie, how are you?
Very fine. Lee, how are you? Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
Oh, this is great. This is super. So, Julie, you know what? You're my first florist, and I am so excited about this because we talk a lot on this podcast about business owners, the tips and tricks that they can share from their learnings over the years. So, first of all, tell us, why did you become a florist? What's the backstory on this?
When I was in high school, I had an English teacher, and she gave us a project. And our project was what we wanted to do after we got out of high school. Mm-hmm. And we all had to do research, and we had our little pods and of time that we were supposed to do whatever research that we wanted to do in a field that we wanted to be in, whether it was nursing, doctor, farmer, right. Whatever. And I was very involved in 4-H. My mom and dad were very involved. My father was a 4-H leader for years, and my mom was very good at almost anything that she did with her hands. Mm-hmm. And since I was in 4-H, I helped outside on the farm with gardening and, pulling button weeds and everything. So it sort of led me to, as I was researching it, well, what about flowers? So happened to be in that Kirkwood College had a floral program at the time. And I knew right when I was a freshman in high school exactly what I was going to do from that term paper.
Wow.
So I had my eyes set on that, and I went out of high school, went to flower school, and now I do now I teach for education in the floral industry and product development I've been involved with in the floral industry. And so I'm always doing something in the industry, helping out. But I also take classes. I'm still learning like everybody. If there's a class to take, I took several when we had our little major shutdown. There were other florists that were on YouTube, or they were doing it in other homes. So I'd sign up for a class and still take a class.
That's amazing. I mean, you're always learning something as a business owner, and the floral industry is no different. I mean, you and I had a conversation the other day that, the flower arrangements that we have today do not look like they did 10 years ago. There's changes all the time, new styles, new designs. You create your own designs and share those out. It's just fascinating to me. Now, have you been doing this for a while? You have.
Yes. But I'm not going to disclose my age, but as soon as I got out of high school, so a long time.
All right, for at least a couple of years then. That's right, Julie. That's good. And you had some success. What's that?
I want to just interrupt you. Going back to this, what you went on about different style of flower design and different, you were saying that, but there's also the difference of flowers and the different kinds of flowers and colors that has the movement since I started to now. When I was married in 1986, you could not, I tried to get hybrid Oriental lilies. You could not find them. You didn't have them. Now you have them. Like a year later, they appeared. And it's just like that's one of my favorite things in the industry is when they bring out the new product line for fresh flowers. I just love to see that, all the new varieties that come. That's one of my favorite things once a year.
Well, and as an artist, you're immediately thinking, how can I use this in a composition?
Yeah, or what customer I know would love to have this.
That's right, my wife. Exactly. This is so Julie, and you, okay, so you're based in Lone Tree, Iowa, okay, not the biggest town on the planet.
Nope.
But
I was born and raised.
Yes, but your customers are not confined to Lone Tree either, are they?
No, they're not.
You have a pretty broad reach.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm very, very blessed by that. Thank you.
Yes. and you are not even limited to just the state of Iowa. You've had some other shows and things that have
Yeah.
California, correct?
Yep. I've been very fortunate to do some um, very influential things I got to do in my lifetime that I've been blessed. I got to be on the Oscar team for under a company that I worked 12 years for every time the Oscars came out. So that was like one of the best things ever. That was fun.
That's
and
amazing.
You got to see the same group of people. It was a limited group of people, about 18 people, and you got to see these 18 people on a one-on-one. Very great designers and personalities, but we became very, very close friends, and still are to this day. But we really miss it because our bosses have passed away, and the contract is gone. But you know what? The memories are there, and somebody else gets to do it, and good for them. I had my
well, and what a cool gig. I mean, if I remember correctly, I think you told me one time where for the Oscars, you and your husband loaded up your van and drove to California. Is that right?
Oh, not that one.
Not that one.
Not to that one. That one I was doing for American Institute of Floral Designers. I was doing a main stage program.
Okay.
And I was sharing the stage with two other of my good friends from the floral industry, Helen Miller and Cindy Toll. And Helen's from Michigan and Cindy's from North Carolina. And we were doing a program together. We combined our brilliant minds, and we did a beautiful program together. So that's when my husband and I drove this big van out to California. That was great.
So, and the takeaway here is, as a small business owner, we're always thinking bigger. We're always making more contacts. We're always learning. We're always reaching out. You've gotten involved in several organizations within the floral industry over the years, and that has opened up other doors for you as well, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's, we just can't, we may have a small business, but we can't stay small, not in our head, right? Our headspace has got to be, how can I expand? Yeah. We just can't. I mean, so what? You're in Lone Tree. I'm in Riverside, and again, another not very big town in Iowa, and yet we are not limited by physical borders in what we do.
No. I like Lone Tree. It's the place that I know that that I walk out onto the street and everybody says hello. And even in Iowa City, my neighborhood, I love my neighborhood. And I love it there. Everybody is very kind and gentle souls. And it just feels right. I mean, yeah, that's not where I wanted to put the flower shop at the time, but that's where I planted my feet. And I always said to my father that I would give him 5 years. And now it's 40 years. So this is my 40th year in business.
I love that. But you know what? And yet after 40 years, you're not done. You're still learning. I think something you would probably recommend to other business owners, whether they want to get into floral shop ownership or whatever, you've always got to be learning, always honing your craft, right?
And there's always something, it's just like, there's, how did they do this? Or how did they do it? Oh my goodness. I have floral people that I know through the industry, and they're the product developers, and they are fascinating. And you talk about a bunch of geniuses. I mean, they're the ones that are showing you how to make all these permanent botanicals, and they're doing that permanent botanical, and they're making that. And these are genius people that are in my life, and I'm like, how do they? And these silk flowers come out, and I go, how did they come up with this? These things look so real. So there's just so many avenues. You can own the flower shop, but there's so many avenues in the industry that you can go and do so many things. And I'm sure it's that way. And if you bought wallpaper, or if you bought lighting, there's so many different avenues that you can go.
Right. And one of the biggest thrills for me is to go backstage for a theater production and see the inner workings, right? The studios. I have a friend in Iowa City. He's a professional artist, a painter. I love to go to his place and go to his studio and just hang out with Alan for a while, because that's where it's happening, right? That's the creativity.
Yes. And that's, that's why I think it's so incredible, because every industry or every thing that we do always has more to it than we actually see. And it's like, it's fascinating. Sometimes it's just so fascinating.
Right. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Julie. When COVID-19 hit, rather than viewing that as a setback, it's like, hey, I've got some time on my hands, time to learn something, right?
Yeah, time to learn something. Yeah. A lot of
Right.
people were reading books. I wasn't. I was taking some floral design class.
Exactly. Well, exactly. I mean, I was doing the same thing. COVID-19 hit, and it's like, you know what? Time to brush up on my skills. So
exactly.
How, other than that, so you've had a lot of events probably cancel over the past year because of COVID-19. So you had to kind of pivot a little bit that way.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been a good pivot. I think we all should have a pause in March every year. I think we should take 6 weeks off and everybody take a reset button, and we all get back to back to the basics. And it's not so bad, and we all live through it, and we're better today than we were in March because and that's one thing that I think is fascinating about this pandemic. Yes, it's very sad that we have to be very careful, and we don't want anybody to get sick. And we're very sad that we've had some funerals that attributed to that. But what is fascinating to me is how the United States and the world are so creative. They're getting so creative on how they do business, or and it's every day there's somebody I see on TV. Look what they're doing. Look what they did to survive, or look what they're doing to do. I'm like, oh my God. And I am just, my heart and my glasses are full, and it's overflowing of all the creativity that's happening. It's so much more good than there is bad.
I agree. I completely agree. My daughter in Europe has been on lockdown for months, but in a normal year, the Europeans, when they go on holiday, they're gone for like 4 weeks, 6 weeks. If it's shorter than that, they feel like they got gypped. So it's like, wouldn't it be great if as business owners, we could budget our time and budget our finances so we could be closed for a month out of the year? And
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I sure enjoyed it when I
was. I know, right?
I loved it. Yes.
Well, I mean, okay, we make money, we do what we do, and we're go, and that's our nature. But when life throws us a curveball like it did this year, it's kind of like, hey, now I can spend some time on developing my personal skills and be better at what I offer, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Hey, Julie, so tell me, what's the one takeaway for someone who wants to get into business? What's the one lesson, the blinding flash of the obvious that you have learned over your few years as a florist? What's the one thing that really sticks out to you that you could recommend or pass on?
Don't get too stressed out when things are going bad.
Yeah.
You've got to you just gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you just gotta hold your head high, and then you go and you get a good night's sleep, and the next day it's a great day, and all that is gone. And you've worried and worried and worried and made a terrible day because things went wrong, or financially it wasn't a good day. But the next day, there's something about getting a good night's sleep and getting up the next morning, and you have a whole new attitude.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. Just dump that head trash. Realize that we have our ups and our downs, right? We have our seasons, in the floral industry, you have your seasons, you have your really busy times and not so busy times. And you nailed it. I mean, we just can't worry about things.
Because the more you worry, the more that it'll just accumulate, and then it starts affecting your personality and your the way you'll treat people, you treat your customers, and you just can't do that. You just gotta, I had one of those days the other day, and so I was just glad to get out of the store and go home and take a hot shower and just curl up in my blanket, and I felt much better.
And I think too, you've had mentors over your career, and I really feel if you're a new business owner and you don't know the answer, rather than worry about it, ask somebody,
bingo.
Find a mentor, right?
but anybody. It could be somebody that's not in your same business, but
Mm-hmm.
just a friend. Like, I'll tell you one that I always like calling is Nikki Names at RSVP.
Oh yeah, I love Nikki.
I'll call her and I won't even ask her if she's having a good day or a bad day. It's just hearing her voice, and she just makes you feel great. And she
Right.
always calls me Sparky. As soon as she says, "Hi, Sparky," well, there went my whole question about what am I doing today and why do I feel bad. She just greeted me just like with my little nickname she calls me. So I felt much better. So
Oh yeah.
she's in a whole different business than I am, but
Oh yeah.
it's just that that's the people you got to call.
Yeah. She has a fun business right downtown, right across from St. Mary's. Yes. But you're right. You just need that one person that you can call up, and it could just be a friend. It could just be, hey, let's get grounded. We've been friends since high school. What's the problem? Right?
Exactly.
Oh, you need that. Well, Julie, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking some time out. Let me just shout out. So you're looking for flowers, give Julie a call. It's juliesfountainflowers.com, right? In Lone
Sure.
Tree. Phone number 319-629-5522. That's on your
Absolutely.
website.
And
Yeah.
we have a brick and mortar store so they can come in and visit too.
And there is, okay, you worked on the Oscars, so there is no job too big for Julie's Fountain Flowers, because if you got something coming up. So Julie, and you've got your Instagram thing you're working on with Nico,
Yeah,
which is cool.
Nico,
But
what a guy. Oh
I
yeah, and
mean,
you know what? I felt so great because Instagram called me back and I'm ready to go. I could set up my shop. They called back that same afternoon.
see, all right. Hey, don't go away. We'll talk. Hang on. Don't go away. But so you need flowers. Call Julie. You won't go wrong with Julie. I guarantee it. Personal experience. All right. Don't go away. Hey, thank you all for joining us on this episode of Business Basics with Lee Iben. I'm the head coach here at Action Coach Campus. And our guest today, of course, was Julie Potler with Julie's Fountain of Flowers in Lone Tree. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.